Afternoon guys, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Elkamoto, and as you can see we are back in the garage. Now I did promise we'd try and get the ride out last time, but we've had 2 weeks of utter shite weather here in the UK. Low pressure, winter, cold, wet, windy, the lot thrown at us. So with working 50 odd hours in the daytime and no chance to ride in the evening and bad weather, we're here in the garage. So I did say we were waiting for some bits and pieces to arrive, and we're still waiting on a few of them. But one thing we will do, we might get that ride in tomorrow because the weather's forecast dry. We will wait and see, and if it is, I promise you guys we'll give you that ride out before the Christmas is upon us. But for now, okay, looking at my link rods, my shifter rods and my brake rod, and now looking at the custom parts I want to find, maybe an edge cut or contrast cut brass rod. And I couldn't find one anywhere, and the closest you can get I found in the States is the rear brake lever rod, which is around about $76. And even if I bought that and paid the import duty, that would be a stupid amount just for that here in the UK. Nowhere in the UK here specialises them, but for now Elkamoto will bring you his own custom rear brake and shifter rod made from solid brass, and I'm going to show you guys how to do it. Okay, now you can watch this, I'll give you all the information on how to do this. It's a simple job with simple tools. I'll tell you what tools you need. And if you don't feel you can do that at home and you want to purchase one of these, then I will do these and I'll give you the prices and lowdown later on in the video. So let's have a look. Okay, so we purchased two 500mm, half a metre pieces of brass rod. Okay, now the smaller one is a 3/8 rod and the larger one is a 7/16. So we're looking at 9.5mm for the smaller diameter and about 11.1mm for the 7/16 rod, which is slightly larger than the original. Now here's an original shifter rod, and if you look at that, it's probably around the 8mm mark. Now the thread pitch on that is 5/16 UNF on 24 threads per inch. Okay, and then as we can see on this side, we have already cut the thread down. Now to cut that down without a lathe, to take the bar diameter down, to cut that with the die, I'm going to show you how to do that, and it's a very simple process. Now you only have to come down probably just under a millimeter to be able to get the die over that thread, to cut that thread down from the 9.5mm or 3/8 diameter of that rod. Okay, and we'll show you guys how to do that now. Okay, so we need to cut this piece now to the same length as the original shifter. So we'll go ahead and mark that and cut the bar, and then we'll show you how to tap that thread and take that bar diameter down. So first of all, and take off the swivels. Okay, so once we remove the swivels, we can mark up exactly where we want that to be cut. Take your Sharpie pen and we'll cut that around about there. So of course all of this is done with standard hand tools, so you've no need for any lathes or anything whatsoever. So what we're going to do here now is just mark up exactly to the end of the vise where that thread is, just round about there, Okay, lock that up in the vise, recheck again, perfect. And then what you need is some coarse grit emery cloth. Now, the emery cloth I use is a wideband stuff here. So what you're going to do with that is just tear that down to the same distance from the vise to the end of the brass rod. Okay. Just adjust that. Now, bearing in mind with this being 9.5, and to cut that thread you only have to come down approximately 1mm. With brass being a soft metal, it's not going to take long whatsoever just to do it with the emery cloth, so you've no need for a lathe to turn this down. And you'll just start to feel a ridge from the original piece inside the vise to what you're taking down with the emery cloth. So it doesn't take long at all. Okay, so you've just got to keep working it with the emery cloth. It's only for about 10-15 minutes, and you can feel that ridge on the original brass ferrule just above where you're going to thread the work. So you've just got to keep going until you can just feel that ridge and get the die to start cutting onto your workpiece. So we'll just keep going. I don't know if you can hear that outside as well, but that rain is absolutely battering down on the garage. And just a quick note as well, apologies for any of the previous audio from the workshop. It's something we're working on just to set some mics around for future garage series work, so you guys will have a better audio from me. So I do apologise over that, but we are working on that. Okay, let's go. So we're just going to test the die on the end of that now, and with it being brass, it will cut into any imperfections in where you've been sanding down. All we need to do is to get it to start cutting, and it'll do the rest of the work for us. And obviously on a harder metal, it's easier to lay it down, but with brass, it's so easy to work with, there's no need for that whatsoever. Okay, so you can see that that has just started to get a grip, and that is what you're looking for. So all you need is a standard tap and die set, and remember, the sizes really you're working with, the Harley stuff is going to be on the UNF dies. Although a few of them are metric as well, so it's handy to get a dual set. Okay, so you just want to turn that nice and slow, just to make sure it's even on the workpiece. Okay, and you can just hear that now starting to cut the thread. So for every turn or every half turn you do with the die, you want to turn it back and just clean the thread as you go. And you can hear that squeaking. Now with brass, because it's soft, you don't need a heavy oil to cut that. Sometimes just a little bit of WD-40 or equivalent, like a lubricating oil, will do for that job. Okay, and you can see how that just quietens that down now. And again, this is something I do on a week in, week out basis as part of the engineering work that I do for a living on heavy equipment. So it's therapeutic. It's nice just to do a piece that you're making just for yourself. there you go, folks. There is one beautiful new 5/16 pitch by 24 threads per inch thread on our beautiful custom brass rod. So all we're going to do now is try the original fittings. And you can see how they screw on there like a dream. You've got your lock nut to go on as well. And of course, if you look at these now, the discoloration from these are on the bike from new, shiny on one side, and we can polish those up with the buffing tool, or you can get them coated in gold or brass, plated, or whatever you want. I probably will get these plated or maybe paint them black, but for now we'll polish them up. And we're still going to do a little bit of pattern work now on there, so let's just put these on and show you what the finished product looks like. Okay folks, so there we go. So we've gone from, there's a standard one that all you guys will be running unless you've changed yours already. So your standard thin rod, and you can see the thickness of that now, how much chunkier that looks. So even though it's brass, we can work that now and take a few cuts out of there. We can file it down, we can polish it, or you can just leave it exactly how it is. So I'm still in two minds what to do with this. I might do a little bit of diamond pattern work on here. I might cut in with the files, and file an edge cut pattern, have some black showing through, and some polished brass as well. The marks that you see are just from the vise. I'm not worried about them. You can emery cloth them down and we can polish them out with the polishing tools that we've shown you previously. But for now, I think that is a fantastic job. Okay guys, so for about an hour's work we can make a custom part without paying what custom places are charging for these pieces. You can buy the bar from any of your local hardware or steel suppliers, metal suppliers. Your ends are already with the bike. If you want to put new ones on without polishing them, you can buy those again off your local dealer or anywhere on the marketplace. Okay, so we've still got to do, and if you've noticed here, we've still got to do the rear brake rod. Again, we've gone for a thicker section and we're going to do exactly the same, although on this side it goes into a slot and then it's got a peg through it. So we'll turn that down to go into there, and on this one we'll have the same idea as that, which goes into the brake pedal. But that one we're going to save for another time, and we're going to work on this. So for now we're just going to polish this up again, just to give you a look how it will look, leaving it original brass with a polished look, and then you guys can decide for yourself. Then I can take a look at that and decide if I'm going to go a little bit more custom with that before I put that on to my bike. So we'll go ahead and give it a polish up. So I'll just explain what we're doing now. We're using the brown soap, which is the cutting soap, and the cutting soap will take any of the scratches from where it's been in the vise. We've also took them down with a fine emery cloth first. So this soap will take out any of the light scratches that the emery cloth has put onto the brass. With it being a soft metal, it's an easy process. So again, just burr that soap onto there and then work on the workpiece with just an even pressure. So the best thing to do is, rather than dirty the soap, because that's hot, and you can just rub the soap on there. You see how it's beautiful. It just melts itself into the piece. Okay folks, I hope you enjoyed that little garage series today. I'm super chuffed of making a solid brass shifter rod for my bike. It's something I've wanted to do for a while, and it looks a hell of a lot better than the skinny thing that Harley do put on as standard. So that there's no longer needed anymore. We're going to take the aluminium contrast cut one off the bike and fit that on, but before we do that, we've still got to make the rear brake rod, which we're doing out the thicker bar again. So we're going to turn that down and we'll show you guys how to do that on another video. But for now, we'll call that one a day, and hopefully if this rain stops, we're going to keep an eye on the weather tomorrow and give you guys a ride out. We need to do that purely because I am desperate to get out on the bike, and one, we need to give you guys a ride vlog before Christmas Day. So until then, we'll see you soon folks. Thanks for watching. Alkamoto is signing out.